In scenario 200, we continue with ArborCrest Ale Studios and add the ability to change pricing, which is very important to help ArborCrest get the maximum net income. As in the previous scenario, demand is going to exceed capacity at the current price during the peak months, April until about September. It's important as a company to price to market. That means if the demand is exceeding the supply, you have a product that's worth more in the marketplace, and it's a good opportunity to make as much profit as possible. This is important because there will be times where the economy is slow or the company has not been able to introduce a new product and it may be losing money. So when there's an opportunity to make as much profit as you can, it's important to take advantage of that. Sometimes price gouging is a complaint when there's pricing in the market, but there are some factors to consider in looking at this. If prices are higher, it's going to attract new suppliers if this is going to be a consistent situation. When there's a new innovation, other people look to take advantage of that and come into the marketplace. So high prices and high profit margins encourage additional production. Also, if there's shortage or scarcity, high prices cause conservation, so that some people decide to use an alternative or do without, rather than buying the resource that's in short supply. The impact of pricing is to lower demand if prices are increased, and increase demand if prices are lowered. Changing prices can help ArborCrest Ale Studios match demand with their capacity. The field of economics deals with pricing and how pricing affects quantity demanded of a product and the quantity supplied by producers. Supply and demand curves are used to explain the relationships between price and quantity. From the supply and demand curves here, we can see that if prices are low, the quantity demanded will be large. If the price is increased, the quantity demanded will be smaller. In other words, fewer people will be interested in the product at the higher price. Similarly, if the price of the product is low, few companies will want to produce that product and the quantity available will be low. If the price is increased, more companies are willing to produce that product and the supply will increase. Economic theory says in free markets, the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded end up at an equilibrium point. The equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity are where these two curves, the supply curve and the demand curve, intersect, where the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supplied in the marketplace, and the market price is determined where these two are equal. An interesting category of products are known as Veblen goods. Veblen goods are items that are status symbols. Their value comes from the exclusive nature of them and the price of those items. So for normal goods, as the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. For Veblen goods, the price of the product is part of the appeal and part of what creates the demand for the product. Determining the optimal price for a product is an interesting challenge. In the simplest case, without any capacity and only looking at revenue, there's an optimal price which will bring in the maximum revenue. If the price is too low, there are sales, but there's not much earned for every sale. If the price is too high, there's a lot earned for every sale, but there's not enough sales to make the revenue maximum. In our situation, there is a capacity constraint. So the optimal price is the one where the demand for the product exactly equals ArborCrest's ability to produce that product. To change the price for a product in the simulation, go to the Marketing menu option and select Pricing. From the screen, you can select the particular material for which you want to change the price. The current price will be displayed. Change the price and click Update Price, and there will be a record displayed of your price change, the simulation time when it occurred, and who the user is that made the change. Another feature added to the simulation is a production order status report. Under Production, select Order Status. This report lists the production orders from first to last and gives an actual start date and an actual finish date. This is very useful because it's easy to determine from this report if there are any gaps in production, which means there's lost capacity and therefore lost revenue and lost gross income. A good strategy for pricing is that you always want to price to the market. In the beginning of the simulation, really from January through September, when you're trying to build inventory and deal with the high demand in the summer, you want to raise prices so that demand over that period matches your capacity to produce. Once you get through that peak period from September into December, you may want to reduce your prices to increase sales and increase overall revenues. Make sure, though, in that case, you don't price it too low and miss potential margin. Similarly, in the beginning periods, don't price too high. You'll get good margins, but the revenue overall may drop.